Together we rise, together we rise.
I have a question for you. Have you been feeling trapped? Or maybe you've been asking yourself, is this all there really is to life? There has to be more. Well, I want you to know if you've been experiencing any of those things or even things that I haven't even mentioned, I want you to know today's conversation, it's just for you. It's an opportunity to begin to open yourself up and begin to make the decision to say, I'm ready. I'm ready to make the shift. I'm ready to pivot. I'm ready to change. I'm ready to become my own BFF. I'm ready to begin living life bold, fulfilled, and free. So sit back and get ready for this amazing conversation with Coach Dr. B. Excited about this day. I happened to be on a webinar call, and Miss Rashanda was the presenter. And just the information that she shared, it touched me, it moved me such that I actually reached out to her. And she was so gracious to respond and be willing to have a conversation. So I am looking so forward to this conversation. But before we begin it, I want Rashonda to tell you a little bit something about her. So please welcome Miss Rashonda Booker.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And before I move forward, I just want to say, Coach Jackie, it is just an honor and a privilege to share this platform with you. And thank you for reaching out. Thank you for pouring into me. Thank you so much for showing me what sisterhood looks like. And you don't even have to know a person, but you can still be there for someone. So I just thank you so much for reaching out and for pouring into me and loving on me from a whole nother time zone. So thank you so much for that. And for everyone, hey, y'all, I am Rashanda Booker, Coach Dr. B, if you like. But I am the owner and founder of Premier Inspirations, which is a boutique coaching and consulting firm. In my previous life, I was in higher education. I've worked in colleges and universities all over the nation for the last 20 years. And effective February 3rd, 2025, I walked away from my executive leadership position. I walked away from a chief diversity officer role. I walked away from the status, from the title, from the six-figure salary to be more fulfilled, more free, and to finally step into my calling that God had been telling me to do, but I've run from for so long.
Wow, wow. That is just so awesome. And I'm listening to you. So I do have a question for you. But before we start, I just want to even mention that there's something special about this moment, how, God would cause us to even connect. We have two women from two different generations. We may have experienced very similar things, but he's just given us an opportunity and a platform to be able to inspire others. So now that you've pivoted and made this transition, how has that been impacting your life so far? How's that been going?
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's scary. You talk about generations. I was born in the 70s, and my entire life I was born in Mississippi, and the first child, the first grandchild in my entire life. I was told, go to college, establish yourself, don't depend on a man for nothing. So here I am, 45 years old, single with no children. I think I took that a little too literally. But so I've chased the dream. I've chased getting a seat at the table. I've chased it. And when I decided to walk away for health and personal reasons, and now I'm like, what do I do? I'm not getting that check. I'm not getting the benefits. The money isn't coming in. It's terrifying. And I realize in my one-on-one time with God, God is like, this is faith. This is where purpose meets alignment, and this is where your faith truly is. And I'm like, I got faith. I love You don't love God? What's wrong with you? You know, and I'm like, I got faith. And God is like, no, this is not hashtag faith.
Ooh.
This is like, are you willing to step out of the boat, faith? This is like when the waves are rocking to and fro when Jesus is asleep. Are you freaking out, faith? And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know about that faith. Because I would have been ye of little faith,
Mhm.
faith in the boat, like Jesus, you don't feel this boat, you don't walk, if you don't get up, we about to drown, you know? And so every day, God is like, where are you? What you doing? What you afraid of?
Mhm.
You know the Bible, you know the word. And so, to be honest, that's where I am, Coach Jackie. I am
Thank
every day being reminded of what faith looks like and being reminded that if God can clothe the animals and he can feed the animals, that he's going to take care of me because he knows what I need. Um, but this is where the rubber meets the road,
Yes.
and it's difficult. It's
Yes.
not easy.
And you said something so wow, I don't even want to just wash over it because you said, I know the word, I know what God says. But even in the midst of knowing the word, knowing what God says, you still have that uneasiness. You still
Absolutely.
have that, okay, Lord, I'm trusting you with this word say, but help my unbelief. It's a little truth
Right.
right here, but I need you to help me in the areas where I'm struggling. And I love that you say that because sometimes we think that when we hit those spots in our lives, sometimes we're made to feel like we're not trusting God and we're
Mhm.
not believing God. But
Mhm.
we're still in these fleshy bodies. So
Yeah.
we still feel those things. Now, we don't stay there. We
Mhm.
don't linger there. We know where to go to get our help. But we're not going to deny that sometimes we do feel it.
It's real, it's real. And it's healthy to call a thing a thing.
Yes.
It's healthy to say that because I am human, and there are moments, but I keep pushing. And that's the thing, years ago, God told me to do this. And I was like, yeah, no, I need my bills. I need money. I got stuff I'm trying to do, and God was like, okay. And I ran away from it. And so I ended up in hospital bed. And God was like, how long you want to do this? How long you want to keep running from what I told you to do? How long are you going to keep burying talent that I gave you? How long are you going to keep sitting at a table that wasn't built for you? How long are you going to keep shrinking and not being your authentic self because you were told by society that this is what getting the bag looks like? This is what hustling looks like. God is like, I ain't created you to hustle. I ain't created you to do that. You're
Girl, you
not
are
like
talking
everybody
good.
else.
Mm.
I didn't create you like that. You are different. You are called to do something different. I'm like, yeah, that's good. So when I decided, I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Them people almost killed me. I ain't gonna let them kill me. I ain't gonna die. And so I decided I'm gonna build my own business. And I thought, Coach Jackie, that when I decided to do that, by now it's been about 2, 3 months. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be swimming in money. Where to run it over? Press
Mm.
down,
Mm.
shake it together. Where that money at?
Mm. Mm. You're
God
saying
say,
so
hold on.
much because sometimes we have to recognize that it's a process. Then you talked about everything that you've accomplished even before you stepped out to get your PhD, to do all the things that you've done. There was a process. There was a time period. None of that happened overnight.
None of
So,
it. And I want this to happen overnight. Yeah.
there you
God is
go.
like, and then you ain't got no patience. Then you have the nerve to be impatient.
There you
And I
go.
be like, yeah, whoo. I'd be like, thank you, God, for not treating me the
Yes,
way that I deserve.
he is
Because
gracious
I'm a
and merciful.
brat. I'm like, well, why this ain't happening? And why you ain't doing this? And why these people ain't knocking my door down?
Mm, mm, mm,
Because
mm.
I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. I've been
Amen.
doing this for years.
All right,
I
man.
should have clients on clients on clients. I should have money. You hear me? I'm
Mm,
telling me.
mm.
And God is like, no, trust me.
Yes,
I got you.
yes. Because I need you to know that just from what you shared thus far, there are women older than you and even younger than you that are learning, that
Yes.
are recognizing and being able to see. And the interesting thing about it, you're using this analogy, or this is really true, not analogy. This is your life here. But we can even compare that to many areas of our own lives. Sometimes we're in relationships that,
Yes.
the Holy Spirit is telling us that we do. Sometimes we may already even be in our business and doing well, and we could be having this unction and something within us saying, okay, it's time to shift. It's time to pivot. I
Yeah.
need you to turn here. I need you to not do this, but I need you to do that. But because of the familiar, and we're so
Mhm.
comfortable in doing
Mhm.
what we're doing. And you
Mhm.
said something even really even more important, because sometimes we get used to the lifestyle. So I'm
Yeah.
making good money. I can
Yeah.
do different things. Like you said, I
Yeah.
can go online and order what I want. If I want to take a trip, I can take a trip. Now things have to be a little bit more planned out and
I'm
not
like,
so instant. So that's
yeah.
a shift in our lifestyle. And
Mhm.
sometimes I hear this quote all the time, sometimes to get something that we've never had,
You
many
got to do
times we
something
have to
you
do
never
something that
done.
we've never done.
Yeah.
And
It sounds
that's
good.
scary.
It sounds good until you got to do it.
Come on
It
now.
sounds good when you post it on Instagram.
Come on
Sounds
now.
good on a t-shirt and a bumper sticker.
Come on
But see, if
now.
everybody could do it, Coach Jackie, they would do it. And
Yes.
it's difficult, and fear is so powerful.
Yes. It's real.
Fear is so real, and it can
Mhm.
keep people paralyzed in
Mhm.
relationships, in
Mhm.
businesses,
Mhm.
and that is why it's so important for these platforms to let individuals know you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. Congratulations, you're human.
Mhm.
The only difference is some people are just kind of delusional enough to just try it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna see, I'm just gonna do it. Either I'm gonna jump, either I'm gonna get out of this boat and walk on water while keeping my eyes on God, or I'm gonna drown.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Either I'm gonna win or I'm gonna win. Like that's just where I'm at.
Mhm.
That's just where I'm at. And
Mhm.
I have to remind myself, PJ Morton has this song, All Right. It's
Mhm.
like 1 minute. It's like so short. But he says, when it rains, it pours. And he just talks about, all right, everything's gonna be all right. Check the scoreboard.
Mhm.
And I just keep reminding myself, God has never failed me. Never. So when I left the South and went to Massachusetts, I was fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
God is like, I've never forsaken you.
Yeah.
My therapist said, I want you to write down every time God has failed you. I was like, girl, I know where you're going with this.
Mhm. Mhm.
Never. I get
Mhm.
it.
Girl, you're opening up so many points. You just said the word therapist. To some people, that word means like, oh no. If I talk to somebody, that means I'm crazy. That means that something's wrong with me. But
No, and
therapy
that's
is
why
good.
it's necessary, and I talk about that in my book. I have a book
Mhm.
called Groundlessness, A
Mhm.
Journey from Pain to Peace. It's on Amazon, over 65-star reviews. And I talk about my challenge with that, especially being raised in the South. That old Southern Christian, oh, you're too blessed to be stressed. Jesus on the main line, come tell him what you want. Like two things can't exist at the same time. This is real. Jesus can be good and the world still can be crap. Life is still hard, but Jesus is still great.
Yeah.
Like, so these things are real, and I can have Jesus, a therapist,
Yeah.
and prayer.
Yeah.
All of these things are okay. They don't negate
Come on.
they don't negate my faith. And even the Bible tells us faith without works is dead.
Yes.
So me
Mhm.
working is going to get the help, working on myself,
Mhm.
doing this. I'm not just on my knees saying, help me, Lord, please, please, please,
Mhm. Mhm.
without doing my part.
Come on.
Oh, I ain't got to go to a therapist. We all need to be on somebody's couch,
Yes.
especially me, because I know when I look on both sides of my family, the crazy run real deep.
Mhm.
Mhm.
My God. You are saying so many things. And so if you were talking to your younger self, what you know now, what would you say to her?
You just got real deep. Um,
Mm.
I would tell her that I would tell her that you are more than enough. You are more than enough. No matter how big your is, you are more than enough. And you can do hard things.
Oh, oh, wow, wow. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. Oh my
Yeah.
God. That
And
is,
I believe that that's what holds us back. And that's why my life coaching is so important to me. You know, my consultancy firm, I help organizations, but I love helping people because people need to be loved on.
mm,
This world is so cold and people need to be loved on, especially women that look like us.
mm,
You know, because there's this narrative of what beauty looks like, and you're supposed to be doing this. And if you're this age, you ain't got this. What's wrong with you? And you
mm.
need this. And so we need to start telling people that it's okay to be you. Matter of fact, it's great to be you.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
amazing to be
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. And what I love
There's
about
no
this,
other you. How great
yeah,
is that?
yeah.
And so, go
No,
ahead.
go
I'm sorry.
ahead. Mm-mm, go ahead. No, go ahead. What I love about your story is that even as we listen, um, it's good to know that there's no cookie cutter way to navigate these things. It looks different on everybody. So your journey isn't the same as my journey. My journey isn't the same as the person next to me, or to the right or to the left of me, or in front of me or behind me. And sometimes we look for this like cookie cutter roadmap. We want these steps. It's good to take the principles and apply the principles and then seek the Lord. What does this look like in my life? How do I navigate this in my life? Yes, Lord, you are calling me to pivot, to shift, to turn. How do I navigate that? What is the first step that I need to do? Now, this worked for Rashanda, but this might not be the way how you want me to move. So sometimes we can, how can I say, we have people in our life that inspire us and encourage us, and we need those people. They are very valuable and they're very important. Even this morning, I was thinking about Chat GPT. I love Chat GPT. I use it every day. But the Holy Spirit was reminding me, Chat
Same.
GPT is not
Me too.
smarter than me. He don't know more than I know. So even though I use it every day and it's very helpful, but don't get it twisted. Don't forget who really knows all things. Don't forget who really is in control, because ChatGPT is responding to based on the information that you give it. God and the Holy Spirit is responding on base information
Mhm.
you don't even know about. He can see way further than we can. Now, don't
Right.
misunderstand me.
Yeah.
It's a great tool and
Right.
I use it. But just this morning, that's what I was hearing.
Hmm.
Don't be so dependent. So, and my point is sometimes we have different resources and things, and sometimes if we're not careful, we rely on that more than we rely on God, the creator, the one who created us.
Absolutely. Yeah. And social media has created those crutches. You know, oh, I want my hair done like Beyonce. I want my nails done like Nicki Minaj. I want to act like Michelle Obama. I want to the ability to be unique and just, people were wild and free and just did their own thing. And somebody at one point had like a haircut and it was like a ramp. It was crisscross wear their clothes backwards.
Like,
It was just like I'm just me and I'm expressing myself. And I loved work, being in the 80s because that's who I am. I'm going to do what I want to do.
mm,
And don't ever ask me what I'm wearing. We have to remind individuals of
mm,
that
mm,
because we've gotten away from that. And
mm,
people want to emulate other people because they see their success
mm,
and how much they're adored and what's coming with that. And so that's why I tell individuals when individuals meet me, for instance, I was in Walmart once and this young lady was checking out individuals. She was working at Walmart and I was in line, not paying attention. And she acknowledged me before I acknowledged her because she was checking someone out. But by the time I got to the checkout, she was like, "Oh my goodness, I realized it's you." And I was like, "Hey," I had no idea who this woman was. And I was like, "Hey." And so she was like, "Can I give you a hug?" Now, by this time, Coach Jackie, everybody in line is like, "Who is that lady? Why is she so important?" And I'm like, "Why am I so important?" And so she came around and she gave me a hug and she was like, "I've been following you on social media. I've read your book." And people were, I'm like, "Girl, you don't know me. You
Mm,
you see the highlights of my life.
mhm,
You don't know that my life is being held by two paper clips right now. You don't know my struggles.
mhm,
You
mhm,
don't know my ugly onion cries,
mhm.
but I felt great. But
Absolutely.
at the same token, I felt like that's not real, sis.
Mhm,
You don't know me.
mhm,
You don't know me at all.
mhm.
And ain't nobody you need to be running around them. Like I'm not famous. And people were looking at me like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Child, just little girl from nowhere, Mississippi."
Wow. It's almost like it's an oxymoron because in one hand, it is a good thing, because it reflects, the light and what God has put in you. And then in the other hand, it can put weight on you. And if we're not careful, it limits us from really being human and being real, because this is how people expect to see me, expect me to show up. Now, what if you would have came in there and you were just having a bad day and you were crying, or your face, your eyes look like you had just finished crying? I wonder how would the person
Yeah,
respond then.
yeah.
So even the people that we admire, we have to remember that they are
You're
human.
human.
And
Yeah.
just as we experience pain and go through things, so do they do. Just as
Mhm.
we need a safe place to land, they need a safe place to land. We all need a safe place to
We
land
all
where we can
do.
really be real and transparent. Now, can you do it with anybody? Absolutely not. Definitely you want to have wisdom,
Yeah.
but for sure it is very much needed. And
Yeah.
that is part of my passion. I have a strong passion for, successful women who are powerhouses out here, moving and shaking and doing all kinds of things. Because sometimes it's unfortunate, but sometimes people don't allow them to be human. And they feel like they have to put their game face on at all times. Some days they may not want to be smiling and cheerful. Not necessarily there's not anything wrong. They just might want to be quiet and just have a little bit of time to themselves. But because we put these expectations on them, we want them to be who we want them to be at
Yeah.
all times when we're
Yeah.
not even who we want to be at all
Right,
times.
right. Yeah, it's a burden. It's definitely a
It
burden,
can
and
be.
it's a lofty burden, and that's why my book was so important to me when I wrote it, because I had to finally take my mask off and I had to finally face myself because I didn't know who I was. My whole life, I was who people told me I was supposed to be. Be the good girl, get the high credit score, get all the degrees, get the good job, do this, do that. And I did all of that and was like still suicidal, still struggling. And people was like, "Oh, she's self-absorbed. She thinks she's all that. She thinks she's this." I was really insecure. That's why I walked around like that. I was insecure. I was doubting myself, and so I finally had to take time to figure out who I was and who I really wanted to be. And so you can be viewed as a powerhouse and still be struggling and performing. You're acting the way people think you're supposed to be acting. And that's not who you are at all. And now I'm like, no, I'm going to be authentic. And that's just be myself. And the only thing that being authentic means to me, Coach Jackie, is that I like me.
Mm, mm,
Don't mean that everybody gonna like me,
mm,
but as long as I like me,
mm.
that's all that matters to me right now.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Wow. I definitely appreciate this conversation. I believe that the individuals that hear it will be just, their lives will be changed. It will give them something to think about. So if anyone wanted to reach out to you and connect with you, how would they do that?
You can find all things about me, my firm, upcoming workshops at RashandaRachelle.com, which is RashandaRachelle.com. I do have an upcoming workshop, which is very similar to what Coach Jackie talks about at the top of the call, which is on May 18th at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And it is a workshop for those individuals that are professionally trapped, feeling trapped. You know that where you're working is not where you're supposed to be, and you are ready to step into your passion, whether that's creating your own job as entrepreneur or just finding something else that more aligns with your value. It's a free workshop. Once again, it's Sunday, May 18th. If you're interested, you can register on my website, or if you just want to learn more about me and my speaking engagements, whatever I do, just go to RashandaRachelle.com, and I'm sure we'll drop it in the link, drop the link in the comment section below so that you can easily contact me or follow me on social media if you are interested.
And you guys, you know me, you know my motto is that we want to become our own BFF. We want to be able to live our lives bold, fulfilled, and free. And I'm
Yeah,
telling you, you could see you need this to be able to do that.
right. Absolutely. I love
Be
it.
able to pivot and make those adjustments in our lives is part of
Mhm.
the process to becoming bold, fulfilled, and free.
I love
So
it.
until next time, I want you guys to be well, take care of yourself, and continue to live bold, fulfilled, and free. Take care. Thank you, Rashanda.
That was so much fun. Thank you so much.